Over the past 3 years, I've been carefully observing American willow herbs or Epilobium ciliatum complex plants around Nottingham, and I've come to the conclusion that the group needs to be renamed, and there are three taxa in the new system of nomenclature. There are Epilobium adenocolon, Epilobium pseudorubescens, and Epilobium adenocolon form albiflorum. This one's a new one that has been named in Russia by Skvortsov as Epilobium pseudorubescens. The flowers open white, but they very quickly turn to pink. And when the flowers have completely closed, they are bright rose in colour. The other fact about pseudorubescens is the leaves are very light green in colour. This is a consistent observation and is reproducible from seed. This next photo shows how the flowers change from very clear white to closing to dark rose pink, and it's a very striking feature of this plant, which does seem to set it apart from any link to Epilobium ciliatum. This one's a fairly typical adenocolon, which would be called ciliatum by most people. I think it's important to separate it because of its consistent dark green colour, cross-shaped light pink flowers from when they open to when they close. This plant's very common, and the flowers do change in shape and structure slightly. So I've shown a variety of the kind of forms that the flower can have. They're all cross-shaped and they're all strongly indented. This one is probably the commonest form. These flowers open pink and they close pink. The leaves are slightly narrower and darker green than pseudorubescens. So this is another form of the flower here. You can see how strongly indented the flowers are. And it's a very common plant. Not so common is the final version, Epilobium adenocolon form albiflorum. This has very, very bright, dazzling white flowers, in fact, and these flowers stay white and they never have any pinkish coloration in them. The plant, other than that, is very similar, if not identical, to adenocolon, the pink-flowered form. So it would only be considered to be a white-flowered form of adenocolon rather than a different species. And here's the plant's flowers when they've just opened, and they look pink, but they shouldn't do. Can I ask you now to like and subscribe if you like this video? The leaves of the plants have different forms as well. Epilobium rubescens does have light green leaves which are wider in the middle. Adenocolon and adenocolon form album are narrower in the middle, and this is a way of distinguishing the three varieties from each other. So you have the leaves and the flowers without the need to look at any microscopic features, and there are the leaf differences. Adenocolon has a length to width ratio of 3.22, whereas in pseudorubescens it's 2.78. So the flower color and the leaf color and the leaf width are the main ways that you can differentiate between these plants without a microscope. The kind of weeds you might find in the street often have very distinctly bright pink petals, which is indicative of hybridization. The overwintering turions of adenocolon and pseudorubescens look the same when they first start to develop and they poke through the soil. However, when they develop, the turions of adenocolon are much more succulent and white in colour, whereas the turions of pseudorubescens are less succulent. Pseudorubescens is described in this paper by Terlevic, and there are 2 or 3 papers where pseudorubescens is referred to as coming from America. As far as I can tell, there is no real evidence for this. Bernard named Epilobium the Necolon forma albiflorum, and I would go with his nomenclature, as there are two distinct kinds of albiflorum on the macroscopic scale that you can deduce without having to look at them with a magnifying glass. Thanks for watching.